Yelp. It's the hip new way to search for local bars and restaurants in your area. Are you looking for pizza? Just type in pizza and hit that search bar. Immediately, yep, there we go. Immediately, you'll be provided with all of the best pizza restaurants in your area.
All joking aside, guys, today's video is going to be focused on whether or not you should list your business on Yelp. So if you are a new business owner, I'm hoping some of the information that I'm going to share with you today will help you avoid some of the mistakes that I have made. So let's get into it. Number one, understand exactly what Yelp is. Yelp is a review site. However, it's not like Google or Facebook. Yelp operates with a filter, and this filter decides which reviews are legitimate and which ones are not. So how does a business get placed on Yelp? Well, one of two things can happen. The first time you receive a review on your business, the customer actually has an option to basically create the Yelp page for you. Later on, as a business owner, you can claim that page and take control of it. So add pictures, add details, add your store hours. That is one way that can happen. The second way is you can go in and create the business yourself. So that's great. You're thinking as a new business owner, wow, I can basically have another area where my business can thrive. Somebody can find me on search results through Bing or Apple Maps and be able to see the awesome reviews that the customers write about my business. And initially, this is exactly what's going to happen. You are a great business owner. You work hard. And if you actually operate your own business, you know how important every customer interaction is. So you are going to get those 5-star reviews. You are going to get customers raving about your business. But what will end up happening is you will end up getting one bad review. In my case, I'm just using myself as an example here, I had a disgruntled applicant who had applied for a job opening that I had, and unfortunately, while she was qualified, we had much better qualified candidates, and she didn't get the job. This particular person decided, instead of writing a review on Glassdoor where it belonged, that she would retaliate via Yelp. Now, this wouldn't have been a problem because I had about 15 5-star reviews from legitimate customers. However, when this 1-star review came in, all of a sudden, those 15 5-star reviews were moved from recommended to not recommended. And if you don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to Yelp between recommended and non-recommended reviews, basically that Yelp filter I talked about earlier will decide whether it needs to recommend a review or not. When I saw this 1-star review, my heart sank. I really thought this was an interaction I had with this customer. I thought, wow, I made somebody this upset that they would go through the trouble of writing a scathing review about how rude and arrogant that I was. And I racked my brain thinking, wow, when could have this happened? I could have been in a bad mood. Maybe something came up that day. Maybe this customer was just being short with me. And eventually reached out to them. Yelp gives you this option. She gave me some details about when it had happened, but gave me no details about products, what my store looked like, even what I looked like, the way that I interacted with her, just repeating exactly what she had put on the review, which was I was being arrogant and couldn't accept my fault. After a little bit of research, I'm not going to dig in too much to my own personal situation, but I did discover that this was not a customer, and obviously it was this disgruntled applicant. So I did what any concerned business owner would have done. I reached out to Yelp via email. They have a support link down at the bottom. And I explained exactly what I explained to you guys, that this was a disgruntled applicant, that she made herself look like she was a customer at my store. However, it was obvious that that wasn't the case. A few days later, I got an email back from Yelp. Basically, just to sum it up, they said they disagreed with my assessment of the review and that they didn't have enough information to take it down. So I was willing to accept this. I had about 20 reviews, and one of them was a 1-star. The rest were 5-star. ultimately it washes out. It doesn't really change the perception of a customer scrolling through a list of furniture stores to see a 4.8. Any decent consumer will understand that you will have an upset customer sometimes, no matter what you do. Now here's where things got interesting. After that review was written and after my email went out to Yelp, I had those 20 5-star reviews all of a sudden move from the recommended category to the not recommended category. Now this changed my 4.8, we'll call it, close to 5-star reviews, down to a 1-star review. The only review that remained was the fake review which this applicant had put a 1-star review down on. At this point, I'm furious. I thought that this was a legitimate mistake, that maybe something with my email had triggered the reverse of what I really wanted. So, not wanting to wait to email Yelp again a few days, Yelp actually gives you an option to call a support staff, and that number is located right below where you can see your reviews. Naturally, I gave Yelp a call. It turns out that number actually is an ad service for Yelp. The salesperson who picked up was extremely nice. He understood my situation. He did explain to me, he said, listen, the Yelp filter is an automated process, so it's not perfect, but we can do some stuff here at Yelp Ads to help you promote your business to get more 5-star reviews and help you move some of those non-recommended reviews back into the recommended category. While the salesperson didn't come right out and tell me that they could remove reviews, I did, after doing a little bit of research on Yelp's Facebook page and speaking to other business owners that have had something similar like this happen to them, I did uncover that this is very much possible. That if you flag a review as a Yelp ad customer, they tend to remove your negative reviews that you have flagged more often than if you are not. So I decided to do a little bit of my own research, and it didn't come to my surprise that I'm the only person that has had this happen to them or has had this suspicion. I started to watch some videos of journalists who have reached out to Yelp and reached out to small business owners that have made the same argument that I have. And Yelp's response typically is, we have customers, we'll just use pizza places as our standard example here. We have, we'll say, Johnny's Pizza, who pays for ads on Yelp, and he is, 2.5, 3 stars. But we also have Pablo's Pizza, who does not pay for ads, and he's all 5 stars. So our review site is 100% legitimate. It doesn't matter if you pay for reviews or not. So I started thinking, that does make sense. Maybe Yelp isn't trying to extort businesses. Maybe this is just legitimately an algorithmic error or an anomaly that happened to me. But thinking about it logically, if Yelp did this extortion tactic to every single business that was listed on Yelp, they would never get away with it. So Yelp is targeting smaller businesses that may not have the resources to fight them on these and use that extortion tactic to get them to buy into Yelp ads. But what about Johnny's Pizza in this example we just used? Johnny pays for ads on Yelp but still maintains a 2.5-star review. Well, this is where things get a little bit more interesting. When you buy into Yelp ads, it will initially benefit your business. They will do some of the things that I described earlier, help you get more reviews, remove some of your negative reviews, and move some of your positive reviews from not recommended to recommended. However, they will slowly begin their extortion tactic again, where they start removing certain reviews, positive reviews, back to non-recommended, and allowing some of the fake negative reviews, or maybe even legitimate negative reviews, to get through their filter and onto your page. So your 5-star Johnny's Pizza, which originally was, we'll say, 2.5 star, bumped up to 5 after you started paying to ads, will slowly start declining from 3 back down to 2.5. And then this will continue. If you decide to cancel your service with Yelp, that will just completely crash. You'll stop getting reviews. You'll certainly stop getting positive reviews. Yelp will no longer recommend your business to anyone. So, how does Yelp get away with this? Well, they don't. People understand that this is a problem Yelp has. Consumers, people who are looking for businesses on Yelp, have had their own legitimate reviews removed, whether positive or negative. In both cases, I can cite several examples. Businesses have had legitimate reviews removed off of their site and had fake reviews put on. When reporters have addressed Yelp with these claims of extortion or of removing legitimate reviews, Yelp defaults to the same answer, which is they have an algorithmic process that their filter works off of. They are not allowed to share with us the details about that process because it is patented or secret, and they don't want their competitors to steal that beautiful filter that they have that works so well. A third-party company has investigated the claim that if you pay for Yelp ads, you are treated more favorably in the review process than companies that do not. They did find that that claim was inconclusive. They cannot say with certainty that companies that paid for ads were treated any better than companies that did not. However, this is not the claim that most business owners are making. If Yelp was treating their paying customers better than their non-paying customers, and that was the trend, it would be very obvious to follow. So it needs to be far more complicated than that. Yelp is cherry-picking certain businesses to extort and others not to. They have to keep this percentage low enough so that it is not suspicious, and they have to pick businesses that do not have the resources to combat Yelp on these issues. At the same time, Yelp can't pick businesses that are so green, so new, that they wouldn't be able to pay Yelp for their advertising services. Yelp isn't doing this out of pure malice. While it's unethical, their tactics are intended for them to generate leads for sales and obviously extort businesses for advertising money. So what's the sweet spot for Yelp? They're looking for those businesses that basically an SBA would want to loan money to in their early stages. So businesses that are around 3 years old that have become slightly profitable and that are growing quickly. Because business owners that are growing quickly will not give up on their reviews. They will do whatever it takes to maintain that growth. If they go for fledgling businesses, the owners that are in these struggling businesses will give up and just accept the fact that, hey, you know what, these are poor reviews, maybe my company is not that great, or maybe they even decide to close their doors. On the other end of the spectrum, you don't want that successful business, the guy who's earning millions of dollars a year in profit, to decide to pursue you legally. So therein lies the true Yelp algorithm. Has nothing to do with the actual reviews. It has everything to do with the businesses they're looking to extort. And this is not something you have to take my word for. During this entire recording, I've been showing examples of some of the extortion that Yelp has done. Some of it stated legally, some of it through Better Business Bureau, some of it just through Facebook remarks that other business owners have made. I know personally, after I posted some stuff, I got several messages of business owners telling me the same thing, maybe afraid to speak out because of the repercussions of their account. I know on some of the interviews that I watched, and I'll try and put some of those in the links down below to some other YouTube videos, some of the business owners have opted not to disclose some information for fear that there would be repercussions from Yelp. Now, fortunately for me, my business does not rely on Yelp. I run a furniture store that carries very specific brands, and people who are looking for that product will generally seek it out through the manufacturer's website, or will find me via Google. Yelp seems to be pretty irrelevant in my industry. However, in the restaurant industry and in some medical fields like chiropractic industries, I know dentistry, can have their businesses absolutely ruined by some reviews and by some of the extortion tactics that Yelp is known to use. There is actually an entire website, URL is, I'll put in the link as well, is yelp-sucks.com, and that entire website is virtually a support group for small business owners who have had their lives and businesses ruined by Yelp. The intent of this video is not to complain on my own behalf. I don't really care that much about my Yelp profile. What I found disturbing was when I went to correct some of these things, how difficult it was and how Yelp retaliated negatively by removing some of my positive reviews and highlighting the one fake negative review. If I did have a business that relied very heavily on Yelp, like a pizza restaurant, I probably would be out of business. I can't imagine having a 1-star, 1-review business as a pizza place and still expect to see customers come in. The intent of this video is to show new business owners or anyone who hasn't listed themselves on Yelp not to list themselves on Yelp. So do your best to avoid getting listed on Yelp. That means telling your customers not to write reviews, even if they're positive. Just avoid it altogether. It is also to shed light on the fact that Yelp is extorting small businesses. Yelp also does a number of other unethical things as well that we haven't even touched into. Some of it may have been exposed during this video, just as we're glancing over some of those complaints on Facebook. Some of those include consumer reviews being taken down, consumers being threatened by business owners. Yelp has put so much pressure on business owners that they've actually gone to the extent of physically threatening consumers for writing poor reviews. Now, I don't condone this at all. It's absolutely terrible that any business owner would threaten a consumer over a review on an irrelevant website, but this just goes to show you how serious some of these businesses rely on Yelp. Yelp has also gotten into issues with high-pressure sales tactics. There's salespeople using those extortion calls, using the high-pressure sales tactics, calling businesses repeatedly, even after the owners have asked them to stop calling, or even if they are on a no-call list, being repeatedly harassed. I really want this video to be a conversation between us as a community, whether you're a business owner or a consumer. If you guys have any complaints or comments or insight about Yelp, please leave them down in the comments below. I know for a fact that if you're going through this, you're not the only person. There's basically an entire support group built around how Yelp has ruined certain businesses, and I'm using as much platform as I have to shed light on this. So any support at all would be great. If you guys like and share this video, that would be awesome. Please make your own videos. If you have a specific incident, leave a comment down below if there's something you think will help other people who are going through this. That's it for now, guys. Thank you so much for staying if you've made it this far. I know this is kind of a longer video, but it was something that was extremely important to me. So I felt like it was due the full 20 minutes that was needed to record this. Anyway, I won't keep you guys any longer. Thank you so much for watching this video. Bye.